everyone. So I'm back. Let's continue with these questions from Tim. So Tim asks, so why do you work with the runes and what do they do for you? Well, I work with the runes because it is an integral. It is a part of what I do. It's a part of the tradition that I tap into. Um, I I have grown up in Denmark. I'm Danish of origin, and my interests are in Danish history and Danish folk magic and historic magic. So tapping into runes is kind of like second nature to that. Um, and it gives me several things. It gives me um, a platform, a system to work with that is separate from the common reality of every day. Um, because I'm working in a different system of writing that has a deeper meaning to it than traditional writing, modern writing. I do also tend to do magic in modern constructs from time to time, but working the runes just bears so much more weight with it, and has so much more power behind it, uh, and that means a lot to me. Um, so yeah, let's check out the next question from Tim. Gonna smoke again. Oh fuck! I forgot. I only smoke when I'm drinking. So better drink some more. Oh, that's good. Let's see what Tim wrote to me. Next question. So, do you believe that the runes have such deep meaning and layers that they could possibly evolve? Like the runes are nature are connected with anyway. So, as nature and our consciousness and knowledge of the world evolves, our understanding of the runes would evolve and have a complex meaning, more complex meaning as well. Do you agree? Well, the runes have always been evolving from the time that the runes uh, was invented by man. They have been evolved by man. It's a constant. It was a constant evolution while the runes were in actual use in historic times, um, and the usage of the runes changed a lot over time and through history. And we ended up in the Middle Ages having um, where the runes was kind of like laid to rest, to give way to modern writing. The runes carried on into magic often, and the more esoteric stuff out there. Of course, it was also prior to that used for magic, and we do have examples of bind runes and stuff like that. But we get like, especially when you go into to late Middle Ages and you look into Målruner, Lønruner, all these kinds of Trollruner and stuff like this, um, they get like a really deep esoteric meaning to them. All these kinds of glyphs that were used in magic. Um, so yeah, I feel like even today, like we had like, you could say the runes had like a new rebirth in the form of modern esotericism and new age, up through the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Even before that, we have like the runes coming into play again with its symbolism and its deeper meaning. And a lot of people have picked up on this over the years, and this is why we have stuff like runic divination where people throw around with bricks and stuff. Um, a lot of these things are modern constructs that has evolved. If you look again at stuff like the Galdra stuff here, and the graphical Galdr, we know from Icelandic manuscripts, most of them. Um, these are clearly like a lot of people have like this misconception that this is um, a Viking Age phenomenon, but it's not. It is a more modern thing. It's actually inspired by Renaissance magic, and it has you can see by studying Icelandic graphical Galdr and European Galdr that Scandinavian that it evolves. It gets more complex. It gets more complicated. You can see that especially in the Icelandic Galdra stuff here, how they get really complex at some point. So there is a constant evolution, and in modern, present day work with this, work myself are doing, and other people are also working with this system of magic with the graphical Galdr. You can see we are evolving on it. There's happening a lot of things. A lot of people are grasping backwards in time, taking systems, perfecting them, or finding some broken pieces, putting them together, or making up whole new systems on their own. And you could argue that some of it might not be authentic or whatever, but if it bears meaning and if it functions for people and if it has like a functionality out there, then by all means, like I tend to like I tend personally to like to have a sturdy foundation in the work that I do. I do tend to firmly place my work on my knowledge of especially Yiddish folk magic and folk traditions and folklore, and also in the Scandinavian, Old Norse, and these things. I tend to want to have a sturdy foundation there, but there's a lot of gaps in this in the magic, and there's a lot of things that we don't know how they did back in the day. So we have to fill in these gaps, and there's all kinds of ways people are going about this. So things have changed, some things that people are experimenting and so forth, and I think this has always been the case, and it will hopefully always be the case. Some people are opposed to this. They only want to deal with reconstructive magic, and they only want to like stay within a certain time period, work within like the Viking Age or the Iron Age or whatever. Well, then graphical Galdr is not for you, my friend, because that is a much later thing. So yeah, I think that answers the question. So for the next question Tim sent me. So, can you explain a simple or basic formula to create a Galdrastafir? Like, for example, I use Old Norse text or literature, plus letters of a person's name in the runes, plus intentions. Are there any simple formulas you care to share with us? No, I can't. It would take a really, really long time to go through in detail how I do most of my work, and it's very, very personalized and it's very complex. But I can break it down, I guess, into a few steps. I did this before. You kind of have like the first initial step, that is the creation or the gathering of what you need to put together. So you're gonna start out with an intention or a target of some kind of thing that you wanna do, you wanna create and set forth, or change the world, or change in someone. So you're gonna look out and you're gonna find the components you need to put together a construct that can deal with this, that can do what you want it to do. This is this is the most complex part of the creation process, is finding these things and figuring out how to make them work together. Once you have like all these things, like it's like the parts you need to build a functional car or a computer. Once you have all these things together, um, it can be really complex or it can be really simple. Then you go on um, to like a design phase where you put these things together in a balanced way or an unbalanced way if that's what's needed. But basically, you draw it up and you keep working with it, trying to balance it out, make it look and feel good. Um, that is that takes a while. With practice, you can do this quicker if you have an understanding of what you're doing. You can do this pretty quick sometimes. And once you're like satisfied with like the sketch, the blueprint that you put together, then you're gonna go on to the third phase, which is actually doing the work. Like if it's a talisman, or if you're gonna paint it on a wall, or even if you're like gonna put it in your personal book of magic, get some really nice ink or a really nice pencil or paintbrush or whatever you're gonna work with. Make sure that you get some good quality stuff to do that with. Do the best work you can do when you finalize your sigil or your galdra. Don't just take like a squared piece of paper and a pencil and do it quickly and that's it, because it looks like shit and it's not gonna speak to you on the level or speak to others on the level that you're gonna want it to. Try and put some effort into it. You don't have to be Picasso or anything, but you put as much effort into it as you're able to and do the best job you can do. Put your time and into it. I usually refer to this as excrementing my brain, because what I'm doing in this phase of the work is I'm really getting into it. I'm really getting into the design of it. I'm really working it, like fucking making love to the sigil. I might use some of my blood. There might be some ritual involved. I might be singing vocal galdra, invoking something into it. And while I'm doing this, I'm also kind of like shitting out my brain. I'm getting rid of all the stuff that got stuck in my head during the design phase and the blueprint phase of the creation of this Galdra stuff here, and I'm flushing it. I'm flushing it through the work I'm doing and getting rid of it. And that is a very important part for me personally. The people who know about how chaos magic functions will recognize this as what I'm doing is I'm actually going into the gnosis state of it. And here I'm working on an instinctive level where it just flows. I reach that state of gnosis. And usually when I'm done, I'm gonna go like, it's done, I'm gonna put it away, I'm gonna go outside, take a walk with the dog, or walk 10 times around the house, or go take a shower, or sometimes do something really aggressive. Hear really loud death metal or something, just fucking clear my brain. And then I'm kind of gonna go back to it and take a look at it. And it should be so that I totally forgotten the design phase. I would of course have notes if I need to go back and look at something. I would have it in my notes, but it should be out of my conscious mind, and I will be looking at this piece of graphical galder that is speaking to me on a subconscious level. And I know if it's right or if it's wrong at that point, if I need to redo it. So that's kind of like the steps I usually go through. Look at the next question. So do you use Galdra Zafiro sigils in your daily environments, like at work or public places? And have you ever had crazy outcomes? Well, yeah, I do that pretty much every day, and I've done so for many years. I have at my workplace. I work as a graphic designer, and I work with marketing and stuff. And at my office, at my desk, I have like several talisman littered around that acts like kind of like fidget things for my fingers and for my mind, and it has like a the different talisman have like a purpose depending on what kind of work I'm doing at the moment. At home, I have like protection at my front door. I have put stuff in place to ensure that I don't get any clogged drains. I have all kinds of things here also that is like based on graphical galder or other kinds of magic. And even out in public, I have had someone had been out in the forest, had taken some pictures of some trees with some strange looking symbols on them, and sent them to me, asked me, do you know anything about this? And of course I said no, but yeah, I did. I do leave stuff outside in public places sometimes. I tend to go out and work in the forest or in nature where people do come during daytime hours, and sometimes they do stumble upon some of my leftovers and go, what the fuck has been going on here? Um, it kind of amuses me. Um, but and yeah, it has outcomes. Stuff happens when I tinker with certain talismans that I have designed myself to fit certain purposes. It serves its purpose. I do see the functionality of the protection I put at my front door. It does actually work. Um, and sometimes I use particular amulets to attract something, and it shows up. Like things for me pretty much work as I um, intend them to. It didn't always be like this. Like when when I was more uncertain about the work I was doing, I was more experimental on a basis where I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I sometimes had some really weird outcomes of stuff, and some really unexpected things happening. Um, but in general, I pretty much get what I want from magic. Let's see if we have more questions from Tim. So this last one is just a free topic. How have you been? Life has changed greatly for you, and you seem to be on a totally new level now. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been up to and your book release? I'm sure you're sick of that question. Yeah, a lot of people are asking me about the book release, and it is coming. Um, it has been delayed over a year now, and there's a good reason for it. So last year and the beginning of this year, my personal life was getting uh, kind of not good. I went through a divorce with my ex-wife, and it was a thing that had been looming on the horizon for quite a while. And we got through it, and without anyone getting too hurt, and went our separate ways. But this put me in a situation where I had to move because me and my ex-wife had a farm together, and I had to find somewhere else to live. And I ended up getting a flat close to where I work. Basically, I got to work, and I talked to my boss about this, and he was like, well, we have like this storage room in the building next door that we own, and it's not being used. It has like a toilet and a kitchen. You could like empty it for the storage that is there, and renovate it, and you can move in and use that. So this is where I'm sitting now. So yeah, I went here, and it was like the guys who had been using this before apparently was like they use it as a depot for secondhand stuff that was to be sold in a secondhand shop somewhere, and they abandoned it. So there was like boxes upon boxes of books. There was like fucking 20 coffee machines in here. I don't know how many stereos, boxes with VHS tapes, old toys, teddy bears, bags and bags of clothes, old furniture, chairs, tables, sofas, all kind of shit. It was stacked to the ceiling. There was an old car in here. I found a fucking car. There was doors and the whole part except the fucking engine was the only thing not there. There was so much shit. It took forever to get out of here and drive it off to the landfill. And once that was done, the kitchen looked like something that was fucking out of Breaking Bad. So I tore it on down, and the whole thing was renovated. And the toilet, bathroom, everything got tossed and new put in. I got some help doing a lot of this, painting and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I also did myself. Like the old carpet in the living room was glued to the floor, like all over the place. It took me nearly, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks to get it off, to put in a new carpet. And I had to like lie new floor tiles in the bedroom and in the other rooms here, and it took me quite a while. So I went onto my Patreon site and my Facebook, and I kind of just explained what was going on, saying that like I will be back and I will try and keep doing stuff as good as I can. I'm not grabbing at invisible things like a mosquito. And telling people that I'll get back as soon as I get settled, and well, now I'm settled. And everything is settled basically. The thing with the farm, my ex-wife got settled. Everything at my job is going really well, and I got everything fixed up in here. And I also over this amount of month and this year fell in love. I found something really special in my life, someone that really filled the void in me. Someone not living in Denmark, so I had to go abroad to initially meet this person, and it went over all expectation, and we're gonna continue it from here, and we're gonna see where it carries on. But it's something really special to me, and it has touched me and changed me very much on a deep level. So yeah, there's been a shitload of stuff going on. Regarding the book, I have finished the final chapter of the book, and basically what I'm missing doing right now is a few illustrations, and we have a little tweaking on the editing side, and that's basically it. But yeah, I know it's been a long time in the works, and I know a lot of people has been feeling that I've been drawing this up forever, but in my opinion, it has to be done correctly. I can't jabber through it. It has to be done right. And if I'm not in the mindset to do it, and if there's other things that is more important, I'm gonna take care of those things first, because I want that book, the concept of that book, to be fucking just right. It's not a thing I'm doing to get a lot of money. It's not a thing I'm doing to get a lot of fame. It's a thing I'm doing because it needs to be done. In my opinion, it needs to be done correctly. And I've been giving a lot of support from people. A lot of people have given me support and helped me being able to do this. I've been going through some really hard times financially and at a point emotionally. There's been a lot of people out there that supported my work, that really helped me out, and a few people that really supported me closely on a personal level. You guys know who you are. So yeah, a lot of things going on, but I'm all settled now, and I'm back at doing what I'm best at, I think, which is I'm basically working with Galder on a daily basis now, and I want to get back to doing um, YouTube videos, video production, and I have some things in the working, and some more artwork on top of the Galder I'm doing, and probably some audio projects and some writing. So a lot of things in the works right now, but most important thing is getting the last of things in the book done, and it's gonna be really soon. I know I said this 1,000 times. People are probably sick of hearing it. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm not giving up. So yeah, that was all the questions, I think. I hope this has been useful. Once again, I want to say thank you to Tim for doing this. It's awesome, and I hope you guys got something out of this. Feel free to go to my page. I'm sure Tim will be kind enough to link to it, and you can send me questions if you have any. I'll try and answer them. There might be sometimes a delay on my answering people because I am pretty busy. But I do tend to do my best now to get back to people. Um, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and catch you soon.